Good morning and welcome along to the inaugural episode of AardvarkJoke, the podcast where we try and write a joke in as short a time as possible. Joining me this week is Mr. Peterson. Mr. Peterson, what have you been up to this week?
I've been sitting in a darkened room.
And I'm, of course, your host, Ed Jing, but obviously I'm podcasting at the moment, so Ed Podcast Jing, to use the correct moniker.
I like it.
This week's theme, obviously we saw a slight advantage with this being the inaugural episode, but we can think of a theme beforehand. Jobs you can't get wrong or can not get wrong if there's a machine trying to create subtitles for this at some point.
And
This was inspired a little bit. I was listening to another stand-up. Other comedians are available. He was talking
They're all worse.
He was talking about some of the people who work on an aircraft carrier, and he was doing a sort of basic joke about some military stuff. However, it occurred to me, the person on the aircraft carrier, you've seen it in Top Gun or other similar films, they sort of have to do a massive arm movement and then sort of saying go as if it's the start of a race. I don't know if they don't shoot a gun in the air like on Sports Day, not a real gun, obviously, just a cap gun, and then 6-year-olds go running.
I've got a theory why they don't do that.
Okay, I mean, we can come back to you if you've got any like sensible points. That's not really what this podcast is about.
Okay, right. I'll ignore the fact that a jet engine is definitely louder than a gun.
Well, yeah, but anyway, it occurred to me that realistically, that is a job you cannot get wrong because most planes don't have reverse. If he or she sticks the wrong arm out and goes in the wrong direction, what's the pilot going to do? Oh, better just slam it in reverse. Beep, beep. Just reverse off the back of it like, whoa, the person waving their arms around told me to go backwards, so I did it. Clearly, they're just going to go forward. It's
that, or do you think they would do a 3-point turn? Oh, actually, you can't. Yeah, as the plane doesn't have a reverse, I mean, it'd be quite difficult to do a 3-point turn as well. You could have to do a very protracted U-turn, or even get out and sort of maneuver the plane, lift and turn.
It would be easier for them to just go forward, fly off the front, and come round in the air. At which point, everyone goes, "Oh, congratulations!" Person who wears their arms, you've done your job correctly. Again, the plane's gone off the boat, or ship, I should say, being more technical.
Yeah. So
that was the inspiration. I think there is some comedy there.
I feel like you can't get that job wrong because
you cannot get it wrong. Other jobs you can't get wrong.
You could also be replaced by a traffic light, but again, that's
automation. I'm not concerned about that kind of Luddite mentality of keeping jobs for humans. I just prefer to oppress machines, so I don't want to employ them. It's a unique take on the inevitable growth of robotics.
It's their fault for not unionizing.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, they could unionize the entire world, apart from anything that's not online, I guess. Another job you can't get wrong, trauma surgeon. Now, you might be thinking, that's an incredibly specialist job, 7 years of medical training, plus
it is, yeah.
10 to 15 years of on-the-job training. But realistically, if someone gets hit by, I don't know, a train, then, and it all goes wrong on the operating table, you go, well, yeah, got hit by a train. So we go, oh, yes, you're unlikely to survive that. As soon as someone says, oh, unlikely, you're sort of in the clear by default.
I feel like there are other things you could get that wrong, though. I feel like it's not as if, because if you say the aircraft carrier person pointed the wrong way, the plane's still going to probably go that way. If you're if you're a trauma surgeon, you say operated on the wrong organ or operated on the wrong side of the body, bit of a faux pas.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, you could get if they had leg issues and then you took the leg off, took off the other arm, and then attached them, diagonally the wrong way round. People would notice.
Right. And I feel like there's probably a bit more peer reviewing in surgery as well.
Okay, turns out medical experts are off on this particular joke. There's not enough comedy in anything that takes about 30 years to be able to do in terms of training. And this sushi chef doesn't count either.
And it's not that we're scared of them or we definitely need their help, which is ironic because the other person we've taken the piss out of so far controls military aircraft.
Yeah, that is
so
true.
The worst case is what we're going to have to do is move suitably inland, and then the joke is on them.
So when we move to
any doubly landlocked country, so Liechtenstein.
Uzbekistan's the other one, isn't it? There's only
Yeah.
2 W landlocked countries.
Yeah.
Hey, not just a joke, a little bit of facts as well.
That
Cool.
Have you
had any?
corrected?
I'm convinced there's some comedy in this, and obviously with lockdown in theory ending at some point soon, I need to really generate as many jokes for the stand up as possible.
Yeah, because it was joke light but entertainment heavy. Let's say.
Any jobs you can think of that you just cannot get wrong?
Well, I think any sort of international baddie, or actually national baddie, because there's a lockdown, so they've had to diversify. They can't travel as easily. if you're a baddie, if you say, let's just take you're a communal garden shoplifter, you're either A, shoplifting and thus getting away with it and doing your job well, or B, you're not shoplifting and obeying the law and being an upstanding member of the community.
That's true. So by getting your job wrong, people praise you even more.
And I think that's scalable for pretty much every single type of crime. Pirate. You're either doing some piracy, internet or sea-based, or you're just on a jolly on a boat with the lads.
That's true. Just navigating,
or in a circuit in a room full of servers by yourself.
Yeah,
the online-based version.
Because when the Suez Canal got blocked up, no pirates turned up, did they?
They didn't.
You would think that'd be really easy piracy because the victim sort of can't run away or boat away.
Yeah, maybe just because boats move so slowly. Maybe it took like 15 days for all the pirates to mobilize and get the boat turned around and then sort of creep up at 3 knots. And then by the time they move that boat, they're all like, damn it, next time.
Or like the computer thing, maybe pirates are just very prone to union activity and they didn't want to have to pay the exorbitant away fees.
Or they were too busy mining Bitcoin like all the youth of today do, like all these computer types.
On the international bad guy point, I assume in your head you're thinking a James Bond villain type character who is trying to destroy the world, is expected to fail, therefore
easy.
I mean, what villains won apart from Thanos? And all he did was get a second film where he lost.
Dr. Evil? Dr. Evil got 3 films.
Yeah, I'm not really sure he won in any of them.
Yeah, but he didn't lose though, did he? Or did he? But he did well enough to get invited back to the second and third film, thus proving the point that being an international baddie is really, really easy.
Yeah, some sort of testimonial.
Yeah. Arguably, you could say the people who write Austin Powers, but let's not go there because I really like Austin Powers and it's not that.
Also, I thought the people who wrote Austin Powers is Mike Myers, who wrote it, starred in it. It's like a player manager in a football team, except he's player manager, club owner, and he owns a pie shop that sells steak and kidney and a coffee for £5 for a meal deal. He's making bank. The only other one I could think of was a tax avoider's accountant.
Because international baddie, but the facility
sort of, but a bit more white collar.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you don't, I can't remember which round it is, avoidance versus evasion. But if you don't pay the tax,
evasion's the bad one.
Evasion's the bad one. Avoidance is the allowable one. If you don't pay the tax, congratulations, you've not paid the tax. So you've done your job very well. But if you do get rumbled, where it was the entire FBI, CIA, the feds in general, you can't be, it's like casinos. The house always wins.
They do.
What are you going to do? All you can do is get away with that for a period of time.
And worst comes to worst, like if it does go wrong as well, like whether there have been famous examples of people fiddling their tax, it's always the celebrities that get in trouble. It's never the accountant.
That is very true.
The front page story is always about the celebrity, never about the accountant.
And if you don't pay your tax, you might end up with one of the world's most successful Bel Air family-based situational comedies of all time.
Oh, The Simpsons.
Yes, that's the one with William Simpson and Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah.
Skinner. That's the one.
Yeah.
That is the one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So that's my pitch. It's quite a long pitch. Obviously, it's the opening episode. Still not 100% sure what the timing should be. Jobs you cannot get wrong. I'm convinced there's a good joke in there. I quite like my aircraft carrier one. The tax avoidance accountant one, you taught me into thinking that's funnier than I originally did.
It's quite highbrow. The only other one I've thought of is inventor.
Talk to me.
Well, you've got a long lead time on your invention. So you're either, being an inventor is quite binary. You've either invented something or you haven't. If you haven't invented anything, don't worry, you're working on the next invention. If you have invented it, you're an inventor. Well done. If you haven't invented it, you're still an inventor because you're inventing things.
Can we just pause because this sounds like Schrodinger's job before he started torturing cats?
It's pretty Schrodinger's job. And also, not Schrodinger's dog. That's a spin-off. That was the less successful second episode.
When they got to Schrodinger's hamster, they'd really jumped.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When they got to Schrodinger's 2 cat, they knew it was far too far. But when you're either inventing something and you're working on it, so you haven't invented anything, but you can still say, I'm an inventor, I'm inventing a thing. And also you're sworn secrecy, you don't want to tell anyone about it. So if you're not inventing anything, you just lie. Secondly, if you have invented something, you're an inventor. Thirdly, if you invented something and it's actually not exactly what you wanted it to be, you just lie. You just say, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I invented this microwave. Sure, it generates a flamethrower, but it's a microwave-based flamethrower. There's practicalities for that.
I think you're really onto something here, because also I haven't done much inventing myself. However, generally when people get interviewed, creativity, they often talk about some sort of spark. It's not like they sit down and write a 10-point checklist. Stage 1, rearrange furniture. Stage 2, great idea comes along. It comes to you at odd times. So as long as you are alive and existing, then the spark might come. You could be shopping on the toilet, not at the same time. Well, you could obviously with internet shopping.
Yeah. So what you're saying?
Walking in the park.
As
long as you exist, you are still inventing.
So what you're saying is they can go on like a massive 10-year-long gap year and claim all the tax back because it's a business expense.
I mean, I don't know if we're allowed to give out financial advice on this podcast. We have.
Yes, we're not.
If you want to get involved in tax avoidance, but no, I think that is genius. I think that's the joke.
That's the joke.
What now I'm going to need to do is for the magic of editing.
Yeah.
Give myself about 90 seconds to write it down.
Okay.
Obviously, edit that out, and then come back, and I'll try and hit you with a joke and see if you laugh.
Okay.
Bear in mind the amount of value I need to add to this, having talked about it for 5 minutes, to get even a slight chuckle is incredibly high. I've scribbled down some notes. I think I'm ready to go.
We're back.
We are back.
5 hours later.
After that commercial break for the sponsorships that we don't have. Although hopefully we will soon, because I mean I'll sell out to anyone.
Yeah, I mean we'll take the money. Yeah. We're not fussy.
Hopefully crypto as well. If you take everything, that'd be good. Ethereum.
I'll take real money. You take the crypto.
Sounds good. Pure.
And in the future, people will be trolling me in the internet for that comment.
Pure dollar bills. Or fake ones, who knows? Anyway, I can't help feeling there are some jobs you simply cannot get wrong. I'm not talking anything topical like politician or something really simple like ice cream person. Here is your ice cream. Here is your ice cream. Ice cream, ice lolly, snafu. Talked about that one at the Royal Guild of Ice Creameries for years. Now I'm talking things that there's only one outcome. I say you're often seen on TV and films, aircraft carriers. There's the person who waves their arm, sometimes got a sort of giant ping pong bat looking thing. They go sort of go, and then the plane goes, takes off and flies around. Most planes, and I did Google this, don't have a reverse. So if they use the wrong arm and go in the wrong direction, the plane isn't going to slam it into reverse, and you're going to get a vehicle reversing noise as it backs off slowly into the sea, at which point the pilot goes, oh, something's gone wrong here. I swear in training, things didn't go like this. What we're actually going to do is go forwards anyway, or the pilot's going to go, oh, you told me to go backwards. The quickest way of doing that would be to go off the front and turn around in the sky, because the lack of reverse means I can't do a 3-point turn, at which point the arm wavy person has achieved their job. Aircraft is in the sky and off to do some Top Gun stuff. But I think the pinnacle of this, which obviously you cannot get it wrong, is being an inventor. Now, I must admit, for tax reasons, I don't know what the average inventor's income is, but James Dyson seems to have made quite a bit of cash off of his farms. But here's the thing about being an inventor. You've either invented something, at which point you are a certified inventor, or you're inventing something, which means you technically achieved nothing, but you're still an inventor because you're inventing. This is like Schrodinger's job. You are simultaneously brilliant and have done nothing. And it's only when you open the box and find the invention, which has been eaten by the cat, I can't really remember the physics very well, you go, well, brilliant, I am an inventor. We can 10 years between inventions, still inventing. Never invent anything before you die. We don't care at that point, but people will have called you an inventor. I mean, I don't know what the P60 for an inventor looks like, but I think it is an absolutely ungets-wrongable job. So when you see me employed as an inventor in 5 years' time, you'll know the stand-up hasn't gone too well.
I enjoyed. Good joke. Good joke.
Thank you very much. It's slightly wordy. I'm maybe trying to bring it down, but I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's going in the set.
You've got to pad the set out somehow.
Yeah. How long was that joke? About 40 seconds. We've got 40 seconds of material. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Peterson. It's a pleasure to have you in the, I don't know if this is the writer's studio, the digital writer's studio. I don't have to say that anymore. Like when the internet was new in sort of 2003, and you could send electronic mail. I don't know if you remember that.
The old electronic mails.
Yeah, I still send paper faxes. But thank you very much for joining me.
I just write my emails down on paper and send a photo.
Via WhatsApp. Or Snapchat, just in case we need to reference it later. Thank you very much for joining us, Peterson, and we'll see you again next week. This has been AardvarkJoke. Thank you very much for listening.